everybody. Welcome to the first Cow Daily of the new year. As he captures, forgetting to put me headphones in like a dafty. But nice to see you all. I can see you are joining the group chat now. So if you could let us know you're about in the live, that would be absolutely spot on. Also, as well, let's check something. Have I done the thing? No, I haven't. Which is absolutely dumb. Anyway, we should be back now. Great start of the new year. You can tell I'm a bit rusty, but such is life. Les, how you been doing in the comments? I've missed doing this, but I was asked earlier today, like, do I feel rested and have I had a rest and that kind of thing. I do up to a point, but the last 3 nights, it started New Year, obviously, with the fireworks. I'd be up on dog watch all night, so I'm a bit knackered. And they've been unsettled ever since. So they've woken us up in the middle of the night every night since. I think people who love a firework don't understand the actual commitment it is to like just try and have a normal life and the impact it has on people. But never mind, that's how it is. Today we're going to talk about Andrew Tate. I did put a thing out like asking people for what we should talk about, but it's just everywhere, isn't it? So I just thought, well, we'll get it out of the way. And it's something I've wanted to speak about and then decided not to because it's just blatantly like it comes across to me like, oh, I'm just chasing clicks and all that. And it was the same with the Paddy Pimlet one. I didn't want to make that either. But it just gets to a point, doesn't it, where you just like, you can't just keep ignoring a topic. You've got to do it. So that's what's happening. I'm going to talk about this person who I can't accurately describe because we're in the first 5 minutes of the video and that wouldn't be a good thing. Well, let me take some comments. Let me see who it's about. Nice. Joanne's in the house. Hello, mate. Nice to see you. Michael Sweeten in the house. Happy New Year, mate. Straight back at you, brother. Straight back at you. And what else we got? Michael K. O'Mealy reporting from YouTube. Sound is good and Happy New Year, one and all. Had a lovely one here. Nice one, mate. Really happy you've had a good one. And thanks for letting us know the sound's all right. What I didn't realize was that you've got to actually change it over to the microphone and to the headphones before you go on. Done it loads of times. Had a bit of a break. Completely forgot how to do it. So thanks for letting us know. Kirsty Smith in the house. Yay, Happy New Year. I've missed your pods. I've missed them too, mate. I've missed talking to like yourself and others in the live chat too. It's just a nice thing, isn't it? It's nice to have that kind of like community. And I realized how much I like missed it when I was away. Reason I took an extended break was I had people in my ear, obviously, and thanks to the people out there who were some of those people. But I got ill on New Year's Day, and I was ill for a year. And it was after I worked the fuck out of myself and stressed myself. You know, when the Brexit thing happened on Christmas Eve, I was just work on that. And I think we're pretty sure I got COVID, asymptomatic, and then it just triggered off other things. But stress is a massive one. Certainly is for me. And I was just feeling like really worn out. Obviously, moving house just before Christmas, and it's temporary. We're moving again at the end of this month. As you can see, we're just hanging out in a temporary spot at the minute. It's very stressful. I think it's the third most stressful thing a person can do. I mean, like when we're planning, it's not so bad, but this was because there was black mold in the friggin' house, so I had to. So yeah, it's just really, really strange. A lot's changed since we were doing this regular, but for the better. And certainly in terms of my health, I've been coughing up the black mold lung, and I'm starting to feel like a lot better in that regard. Also, as well, people who have been around for a long, long time will know that I was pretty well associated with cycling until I got injured. The first time I've managed to do over 20 kilometers a day for 4 days in a row since my spinal surgery happened over the week. Was it the weekend? New Year weekend. I can't believe it. I did it. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to try not to push myself too hard the other way. But I did it. And also, home cycling clothing. What you don't know is these people, right? When I was ill, this is one of the undergarments. Yeah, they've never asked us to promote it or anything. They sent me a load of stuff, which I was too big at the time because I've lost a lot of weight since then to actually fit into. I now fit in. So big up yourselves, Tom Cycling. Link will be in the description of this show when it goes out later. I wore it with pride on my New Year's Day ride. That I'm a partner, didn't know it, but thank you so much. And when you sent that to us, I was really low. Long-term illness was doing that to us, and it gave us a real lift. And it's been sat there ever since in the drawer, waiting until such a time as I could do it. And it felt like putting all that new kit on New Year's Day was meaningful, as was receiving it from you, and the kindness that you showed has really lifted us back then in a really dark time. So big up yourselves. Also shouts to Raji City, rocking the Metroland t-shirt there. People from Gateshead or the Northeast will know all about King Wizard's Castle. But check out Raji City. Yeah, I can't remember the website. redgee.com maybe. I don't know, Raji City. You'll find it though. I just really like supporting local anything really that's good, and they do some really good stuff. I got a few bits off them just before Christmas, so shouts to Raji City and big up the Metroland arcade crew from back in the day. You know who you are. Right, we'll see who else is in. Oh, Jacqueline Hems is in. Lovely. Nice to see you, pal. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year, everyone. Had a quiet, peaceful Christmas and New Year. Loved it. Really pleased to hear it. Was is in the house as well. It was. Nice to see you. Carlos CWC. Happy New Year, everyone. This is nice seeing all these names that we know. Big Jez Hunt. Hey, Happy New Year, folks. Big up. Jez Hunt. Ali Keefe in the house. Greetings all. Good New Year to you all. Gary Sullivan's in the house. What's the topic? Andrew Tate. That's what we're doing today. Mia's in. Happy New Year, everyone. Nice to see you, my friend. Hope you're keeping well. Joanne's saying, best wish to all for 2023. Being happy is a bit of a reach, but happy we're back together. Indeed. Indeed it is. Right, so thanks for all the congratulations on the cycling and recovery as well, chaps. But we're going to move on to the topic now because we're past the 5-minute mark and it's gang time. However, before I do, I just want to point something out that really did touch us. Somebody got in touch with us. I'll just read this out. I'll explain it. There was a person got in touch over the new year. I picked the message up this morning. That was yesterday. It really touched me. The person said he disagrees with a lot of my opinions and work, but he's become a patron because at least I challenge his thought processes. That means a lot to me, as I want our work to challenge people's views. This is never, ever about chasing patrons by just saying and working on things people want to hear. For us to build our institutions together again, in this case, independent media, we need to allow people space to do work without fear or favor. Sometimes that is going to challenge us. So I think thank this person on a personal as well as professional level. It's a real compliment as it's about the work. 2023, we will turn up, work hard, and with more and more of you become parents, we can continue to do so and expand. Just on that really touched us. And for me, it's this entire whole milk the cow experience, call it what you want, has, for me, it's always been about the work. I view milk the cow as like this, like Trigger's broom from Only Fools and Horses, where he's replaced the shaft and the head so many times. It's not the same one that he was issued when he started working as a road sweeper, but it's still Trigger's broom in it. So my point is, everything that we build needs to be, the person like myself or people like myself need to be expendable. It needs to be about the work. So receiving that from that person really touched us, because for me, it's always been about the work. And the, detractors and whatever, they'll attack you on many different things, but the work stands for itself, whether you agree with it or not. So the fact that this guy doesn't agree with a lot of what I say, but is prepared to fund the work, man, I just love that, man. And what a great way to start the year that is. So thank you so much to everybody, whatever your reasons are for becoming a patron. This is literally the thing that keeps me coming here every day. The fact that I think we can build this to a point where this is like a viable thing that we can do full time and recruit more people, because there's such a need to build our institutions. So thank you to that guy who gave me a lift right at the start of the year and just put my head on straight, and it's focused us on where we're going and what we're doing. So if you want to be like that guy, patreon.com/cowdaily, patreon.com/cowdaily. You can also make a one-off contribution to our work via the PayPal link in the description. Thank you so much. Right, Andrew bloody Tate. Oh, man, I really wish we didn't have to talk about this fucking idiot, but here we are talking about this fucking idiot, which is what he wants. So here we go. Who is Andrew Tate and what did he do? This is an excerpt from the LA Times. An influencer dubbed King of Toxic Masculinity, arrested in Romania. In 2016, he was thrown off Big Brother. That's UK Big Brother, by the way, where like the producers must have known what he was about. But, you know, the clicks and all of that outrage shit, get him on Big Brother. When a video surfaced in which he appeared to be hitting a woman with a belt and shouting abuse at her, he later said it was a consensual activity edited to make him look bad. Was it now? All right, pal, no problem. What else? Right, here's a few bits and bobs about what he said and who he is. And, oh God, I mean, well, let's just say it. So anyway, Andrew Tate says women belong in the home, can't drive, and are a man's property. Fucking yawn. Aye, sound. Same old grift, mate. We've seen it so many times. People thinking they can do the whole disparaging women thing and get this army of bellends. And you've been very successful at it. Well done. He also thinks rape victims must bear responsibility for their attacks and dates women aged 18 and 19 because he can make an imprint on them according to videos posted online. What an evil rotter. In other clips, the British-American kickboxer who poses with fast cars, guns, and portrays himself as a cigar-smoking playboy talks about hitting and choking women, trashing their belongings, and stopping them from going out. Listen, you may be wondering why this has got anything to do with you. I mean, even if you're a parent, because you might think, hey, I'm a great parent, there's no way they can succumb to this. He's actively targeting young people, right? Not just young women so that he can so-called date, manipulate, basically. What he's doing is he's also targeting young people. So by the time they can have a credit card or whatever, he can sell them something called Hustlers University, which we'll touch on later. Now, any right-thinking person, definitely a man, a real one, will be laughing their stones off at this kind of shit. Big time. But there's so many people who were locked in a room or in a house for 18 months or longer on lockdowns. He's just had this like direct line to people, especially young people. Well, why do I want to talk about it? It's got nothing to do with podcasts. It's because I was a youth and community worker for 20 odd years, and it was bad before he came on the scene in terms of the misogyny directed towards women. And in the period of time that the Tories have been in power, they've defunded the sector hugely. And I think it's something like huge, like 90% of the funding has come out of the youth and community sector. We were getting involved in this kind of like anti-misogyny work. Like I've talked about this before, I ran a residential session with young people where we talked about porn, we talked about like all of the way they were speaking and the way they were speaking about women. And it was very successful, like by the end, because you had strong men such as myself, I might be so bold. Maybe so look at the time, and we're going to get monstered of Andrew Tate's like mug followers. So yes, I wear a beanie. I'm wearing glasses today. I haven't had a shave, mate. All of that type of shit. So how you like? There's plenty more. I've got an old school theme park t-shirt on, but I tell you what, I'm still looking like this, more of a man, a proper one, than you'll ever be. Ever. Facts. All of this shit is absolutely like the cringe glands, man. Seriously. I'm a 45-year-old man from the northeast of England, man. Like, just fuck off with this bullshit. Like, we're going to go into some of the terminology, right? And I cringed like hell. I put a post out about this morning. I was shocked at the response to it, right? We're going to pull some of that up because this Zangief cosplay motherfucker and others, Jesus Christ. Like, how man? Like, like people are falling for this shit, man. And like, look, at the end of the day, where I'm from, Like, I tell you what, where I'm from is like really effective at like bringing men back into like the real manosphere, not this like bullshit that these like absolute mug grifters are trying to drag young men into, is ripping the piss. This is an absolute, like, what the fuck has happened to people, right? This is a problem. 18 months people have been in the house, and it's not just young people. A couple of these people on our thread, right, are like, they're in their 30s. They've got kids in their profile picture, man. Like, are you serious? One of you's got daughters. Daughters. So pick one of your daughters to date a man like Andrew Tate in like 18 years time, say, when they're old enough to date. Pick one. You're going to bat for these dickheads. Pick one of them that you want on webcam being like fucking abused and manipulated. Wait till they're 18, 19, because I tell you what, when you're going to bat for these type of people, and I've seen this through 20 odd years of youth and community work, when you go to bat for these wrong ass people like Tate, you create a situation down the line for people like your daughter to try and navigate. And it's already shocking the way women are treated when they go on a night out. Like, it's already absolutely terrible, right? So you, with the daughters, or with sons even, probably worse with sons, because what the fuck are you teaching them? Seriously, give your Zangief cosplay head a wobble, pal. Like, are you fucking serious? Like it's like raising them to be like, like people who'll go around thinking rape's fine, or like women are to blame for rape. That is the, like, you just go on about being like, I don't know, like sort of like, oh, look at the somebody called us a soy boy, man. Jesus Christ. Like, I honestly thought, right? Honestly, like, that it was just really Americans who went on ridiculous like this. But because of this lockdown thing, I would surmise it's properly seeped in to the culture in the UK as well, hasn't it? And you see them going on about like, oh, you know, there's one lad in particular used one of these friggin' terms, right, that Andrew Tate uses. I was buckled laughing because the term was something along the lines of like, you're a non-playing character or NPC or whatever the fuck it is, which means like in a computer game, because they have this whole like Matrix like mentality that everything's a simulation. So it's from simulation theory, right? That a non-playing character doesn't have their own opinions, and they're just controlled by the CPU, the computer, and they just run around doing nothing. And that was directed at me. I have never had it. Yeah, that's right, mate. I've never, ever had an original thought in my life. Whereas you and your crazy pals are saying things like soy boy, NPC, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, you're literally, Andrew Tate owns your mind. And you're trying to go on like, oh, I'm the top alpha and all this. Fuck off, man. You absolute pack of mugs. Seriously. You fucking idiots. He's grifting the shit out of you, and you've been sold a wrong'un, and you've been sat there like wanking yourself rigid over anti-vax websites or whatever the fuck it is. I don't even care. I'm not trying to like win you over or anything. Like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck your life. Fuck you. If you're gonna go to bat for this person, fuck you. If you've got kids and you're going to bat for this person and you're being sucked in by this fucking arsehole, get your head on straight, because your kids could not pick where they were born. But I tell you what, you can choose how you raise them. You're putting this dickhead up as a role model for young men or young women. You're giving that a pass through, and you know what he's just been arrested for, and you're on our fucking thing. Get the fuck out of here, man. Shut up. Anyway, more of this absolute bell sniff and what he's done. So anyway, this is some other things that these people are going to bat for. This is Andrew Tate. It's bang out the machete, boom her in the face, and grip her by the neck. Shut up, bitch, he says in one video. This is from The Guardian, by the way. Acting out how he'd attack a woman if she accused him of cheating. In another, he describes throwing a woman's things out the window. In a third, he calls an ex-girlfriend who accused him of hitting her, an allegation he denies, a dumb hoe. Tate's views have been described as extreme misogyny by domestic abuse charities capable of radicalizing men and boys to commit harm offline. Completely. And he's saying things that will absolutely influence, because that's what he is, an influencer, whatever the fuck that is supposed to be, will influence young men into certain kinds of behavior. And that certain kind of behavior is going to be toxic as hell. Do you know what the problem is, right? Young lads, 18, 19, 20, otherwise, right? And I was one. If you're a parent, they're not going to tell you what they're doing. Like if this guy has gripped them up, he's like because the problem is when you're young, especially when you're a young man, right? And again, I was one. You'll go for the most extreme stuff you can get your fucking hands on. And the problem with the internet, and I was lucky this in the sense that, like, when I was 18, 19, that I didn't have access to the internet because we were poor. And but no, it was just dial-up stuff, and what broadband wasn't even out, never mind prevalent. But we were poor too, relatively. But the problem is you've got everybody from many age groups, and certainly the age group we're referring to, who just got access to like the internet and everything on it, and there's not a thing you can do about it as a parent. Not a thing. I mean, unless you want to like basically lock them up, like Andrew Tate allegedly locks women up and manipulates them into making money from via webcams. He could allegedly, but yeah. So anyway, more of this. So what else is he saying? This, or has he said? So anyway, also on the BFF's podcast, I want to point this out. That podcast, right? You remember I talked about Paddy Pimblett before Christmas, the MMA fighter. Well, the guy who drew question on, Dave Portnoy, who also has a cloud over him in regards treatment of women, etc. That's his podcast. So he's had this guy on there amplifying him on Barstool. It's Barstool Sports, which is what he owns. So he's had him on there, unsurprisingly. But this is like a kind of ecosystem of absolute, like, if it was in the UK, it would be like lads, lads, lads type stuff. But in America, it's like this bros culture. It's all part of that, and it feeds and facilitates into that. And like outcomes for women on many different levels, like, go down when these people get like as prevalent as they had. And it needs an intervention and it needs challenging. And I'm wondering like where the people are who have been challenged in this. I've not looked into this enough. I've got enough on me plate, like with the stuff that I research, but this is the stuff I'm just aware of because I follow popular culture. So anyway, also on the BFF podcast, Tate defended his opinion that women are like dogs and children, saying you can't be responsible for something that doesn't listen to you. You can't be responsible for a dog if it doesn't obey you, or a child if it doesn't obey you, or a woman that doesn't obey you. So once again, fathers, pick one of your daughters. Which one do you want to date a man like this? Because he's literally got something called Hustlers University, which is about many, many different ways of exploiting people to make money. Like there's some kind of like host, and they just prey on people. So which one of your daughters do you want preyed upon? Choose one, because that's what you're doing by like giving this a pass out. You're waving this shit through, man. Get your fucking heads on straight, for real. So anyway, what else? So Tate sees protecting women as his masculine imperative, which begs the question of what women need protection from. If it is men, then it seems this toxic, hyper-masculine, sexist ideological worldview does not make women much safer. I just like to hop in at that point, right? Right. And I'm now by no means blaming the left or whatever you want to fucking call them this week. I don't even fucking know. Like, this is all about getting food in bellies and heating radiators for me, like for everybody. I haven't give a fuck about like whatever fucking ism people are following. But what I do give a fuck about is like women not being like targeted by these fucking arseholes. So a bit more. This kind of like buzzword shit, right? Like toxic, hypermasculine, sexist ideological worldview, etc., etc. A lot of the people who Tate and people like him target, it's shit like that, right? It's impenetrable language, which is turning people away from like any kind of progressive politics, really. Like the top and bottom of it is, right, if you're gonna like go around judging people or like putting labels on them in the sense that, because I guess I'm doing it here as well, but fucking what you're gonna do if we're gonna go around doing this without redemption, which is where I'm different because I'll talk to every fucker, then you're gonna just influence people towards people like Tate, we can't just like be going around doing the admonishment thing. You see it in crossover with like sort of ultra remainers and people like that. And it's strange how like all of this stuff, like anti-vax, Brexit, and people who like Tate, they tend to have similar like politics, because the amplification mechanism for this is funded specifically to amplify the culture war. He is an agent within that. And he's done this thing that a lot of people have done, like from that Bannon school that we've talked about quite a bit, where they will act as a lightning rod for people, and they will slowly move them towards the right. Like, at the end of the day, though, the left need to fucking step up, man. Like, we need to, like, I don't even fucking understand why the so-called left have thought that no platforming somebody, right, was ever going to work in the information age. Like, what? Like, he's always going to find a platform, and because young people like who he targets, or like I say, want to go off towards extremes, or even just children, it doesn't matter what age they are, they'll go off and find extremes. Then it's just playing straight in their hands. How about trying to like open up a fucking dialogue once we've took the piss? Like, how about like we actually fucking stand up against this shit and debate it, because we've got better ideas. Like, but backing ourselves to do it, because what I feel with like parts of the left is that what happens is people will, like, anybody who comes out strongly, or like, I mean, you saw this with even Greta Thunberg the other day when she did a small dick energy retweet of Tate, right? There was people on the left focusing on that rather than the fact that the person she's targeting is in jail for human trafficking, rape charges, and it was all about Greta. Oh, Greta should do better, and it shouldn't be all about this. And just fuck off, man. Like, people normally where I'm from will say things like that and will talk in those ways, but ultimately, it's usually in times of conflict, which is what that was. We're not going around fucking going out with it to fucking body shame people or whatever the fuck that was about. But that is a perfect example of what I'm getting across. Like, you're going to target like Thunberg and body shaming, and she shouldn't have done this. It's like these young men, right, that Tate's targeted, and they just look at that and just think you fucking melt. Sorry to be like the bearer of bad tidings, but the left needs to evolve and it needs to change. There's people falling back into these like well-worn like positions, and like, is this a place of safety for you? I get it, but you're missing out on all of this. All of this shit is happening. You can't just ignore and avoid it. Now, I haven't spoken about any of this on the podcast because, like, fuck Andrew Tate. But I've been following what's been going on, and there's some MMA fighters, because like I follow martial arts, like Darren Till and whatever, like walking out there with some music synonymous with Tate, and you see like this kind of thing, and it's like, it just seems like so weak. Like, he's talking about like how men shouldn't cry and it's a sign of weakness and all this. Fucking, I've seen that get people killed. This shit is going to get young men killed, because a lot of what's predicated on this whole big Bugatti Lambo culture thing, not everybody can have that. And he knows this, right? He's not stupid. He's got a level of intelligence, obviously. Like, he must have to be doing this well on the grift. I mean, he's just saying loads of random shit, and it's winning, because people have like within them, they have like a whole like there's something missing, because we've all been atomized quite a lot of the time into this cult of individualism, which Tate reflects. And he is giving answers to people who maybe are too tired to think about them for themselves. But he's framing it as we've seen in such a way as like people think they're thinking for themselves while they're like going on about like fucking top G's and all this shit. Check this shit out, man, right? Right, so this is some like theoretical stuff, right? Like what I think, right, is that he's following some kind of like Ubermensch Nietzschean Superman theory stuff. So to give a bit of a précis of it, according to Nietzsche, Superman is an individual who has surpassed both the Christian morals and values of humanity and transcends pure rationality. Superman is beyond good and evil in that he recognizes that morality only exists concerning in human beings. He can create his values through his actions. So it's a lot of what I've read about this Tate, where it's just like, do whatever you want, run over the top of people, everything's a war. You've got to understand that this is all a war and we're at war with each other. It's just Thatcherism. It's just Reaganomics rehashed and rebaked, and people will lose out. There are winners and losers in that. And Tate's view of people who don't get the Lambo or the Bugatti is they're a fucking loser, work harder. There's not enough of that shit around about, but he's filled people's heads with this shit that he's made people see young women as commodities, just like a car, which is just fucking weird. It's just weird stuff. Like, can you imagine like not being emotionally evolved enough to be able to have a real relationship with a woman, like a real woman, like a proper woman? Like, you can't sit there and talk about how you're really feeling. You can't actually be in equality and a partnership with each other. Tell you what it takes: strong people to be able to do that. It's people, not men and women. It takes strong people to be able to sit down and face your issues and work through them. Like, treating women like some kind of like artifact or plaything is weak shit, man. That's weak shit. Manipulating people is weak shit. Following people who manipulate people and are evidentially doing that is the weakest shit I can ever think. He's telling you you're strong because you're following him because it makes him money. The fucking end. That's it. That's what he's there for. He's not there to help you or make you feel better or anything like that. He wants your dollars and he wants to exploit people to do that. That's all he is. There's nothing mysterious or mystical or big or strong about this fuckwit. He's just a wrongun. He's a rotter and you've been had. And without truth, there can never be reconciliation. So here's a bucket of fucking truth for you. Anyway, what else? This was from Andrew Tate's reading list, which has been, he's got a friggin' reading list. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I've got a copy of it over there. You should read it because a lot of these absolute idiots are just basically taking it wholesale as the way to treat people and the way to go on in the world. I said a while ago we'd start putting up excerpts for it, and I think we probably should now, given that like this idiot is recommending it to people. The 48 Laws of Power is banned in certain prison systems in certain states in America because of the amount of trouble it causes. Like, because I mean, the book itself, if you read it, it contradicts itself quite wildly, but it is some kind of like Bible for rotters. And I strongly suspect that the likes of Bannon and others use it, but I'm not able to link it there. But it was really easy to link it to Tate. He fucking put his reading list out. Anyway, more. If you're wondering what he looks like, this is him. There he is. Andrew Tate fueling misogyny in UK schools, teachers warn. Education workers, charities and school speakers warn that social media influencers such as Tate are giving boys accused of sexist behavior the ammunition to fight back. What else we got? Overt sexism is on the rise in schools due to a combination of toxic social media influencers and the aftermath of the pandemic, education staff and charities say. Teachers have told the newspaper that the pandemic created a breeding ground for sexism because boys had extra time to explore the internet when schools were closed during lockdown and fewer opportunities to discuss what was normal and acceptable with their teachers and peers. Right, so this is from this Dafty's website, right? Andrew Tate, if you're wondering which Dafty I'm referring to. 2 seconds. Let's put it on full screen. So it says at the top here, my job was to get women to fall in love with me. Literally, that was my job. My job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, test if she's quality, whatever the fuck that means. Get her to fall in love with me to where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together. I'll just read it on. Whether you agree or disagree with what I did with her, their loyalty, submission, and love for me doesn't matter. You cannot reject the results, and the results are simple. My girlfriends would do more for me than 99.9% of men's wives would do for them. Can you fucking believe this shit? And we've got people on our social media going to bat for like somebody who's a manipulative fuckwit who sells like, I think it's £1,999 to get into this Hustlers University. Listen, have you ever looked into fucking Scientology? This is just Scientology for bros, man. And you've been had by an absolute fucking wrongun, by the way. Wrongun. So anyway, further from this goon's fucking website, what exactly do you get with the PhD program? Imagine getting a PhD issued by Andrew Tate. Dear God. What do you get off them? Hours of video content where I will teach you how to text women, how to build your social medias to pick up women, best first dates to bring women on, best follow-up dates, how to approach women. Jesus, right. With respect. How to text women with respect. How to text women. Be normal. Be normal. Hello, how are you? I find you rather attractive. No, I'm joking. But you would, flirting, like it's not like, right, how can I go through this entire process that a total and utter tool has like sold to me for $2,000? $2,000 about how to send a text to a woman. It's not like how to text to, like, let's be clear. It's how to manipulate a woman. It's not how to text them. It's how to manipulate them, and it's fucking so wrong that it's beyond a joke. And yet we have fathers going, well, just notwithstand the other stuff, just listen to what he says. Listen to what he fucking says. I have. Those people going like, oh, I bet you've not even looked into what he says. Of course I do. I follow pop culture. I just don't talk about it a lot, like on this particular show. Maybe I fucking should. Like, why do you automatically think that I haven't looked into what this tool bag's about? I literally spend most of my time looking into researching things. Do you honestly think I don't know what's going on in the world, mate? Like, what are you on about? I'm not the one with a daughter, though. You know what I'm saying? You are. Head on, fucking straight, pal. And everybody else going to bat for these people who have kids. And not only that, who have sentience, because it's you that could be a danger. If you're thinking, even especially when you've got kids, that any of this stuff is right and this is a role model for you and your kids, get a fucking grip, man. Seriously. Like, what is fucking wrong with you here? Well, none of us were that lonely, surely, during lockdown. So anyway, he comes out with this cringeworthy shit. This is from The Sun, by the way. Like, it shows you what, like, that's them, the fucking covering this shit. So anyway, top G means top gangster. A phrase that's someone who is feared and respected by all. The word top in the English language refers to the highest in position, rank, or degree, and the G in the phrase stands for gangster. This modern day slang is used by many as a way to greet their closest friends. Fuck me. Like, what happened to men, man? Like men, like, a lot of us are just cringe. They're just cringe-worthy, man. Like, what the fuck? You're going around calling yourself a top G? Shut the fuck up, man. So anyway, this is apparently what a top G would say. So anyway, this is after he was arrested the other day. A spokesperson for Tate told the Daily Mirror on Thursday night, "We cannot provide any details at the moment regarding alleged reports that they have been detained. However, Andrew and Tristan Tate have the utmost respect for the Romanian authorities and will always assist and help in any way they can." There you go. Exposed. That's not what a top G would do. Definitely not where we're from. That's not what gangsters would do at all. What they would do is start a YouTube channel like Paddy Conroy and tell them, I'll put it. No, I'm just messing. Jesus, man. Like, people, actual people, think this guy's R8. You fucking cringes, man. Right, we'll get some comments before we get off here. Yes, man. Right, so Laurie Lee Daly. Hello, Queen. Socialist think tank Queen in the house. Nice to see you, mate. But he's rich, so he's doing something right. Blur the disgusting list of property. That's what women are to him. More property collect. You're dead right, and he's got to be. You want to be just like telling him about it. Gary Sullivan. Gary, man, you were feeding into everything this guy wants. You were promoting him and his lifestyle. Gary, he's in fucking jail. I'm talking about him now that he's in the jail. If I was promoting him and his lifestyle, I'd be doing it before. But I tell you what it is, pal. I'm definitely fucking talking about it now. Right, what else we got? Dave Slaz. Lol at the Paddy comment. Only true fucking Geordies know that one, kidder. What a belter. Like, absolutely belting. Big up Paddy Conroy. Kel Sim. Paddy Conroy in the house. Yena, Kel, Yena. What else? Jez Hunt. You need to read what they say, otherwise known. I got bamboozled by propaganda. I'd like you to as well. Oh, look, I look like a Clem. Proper. Right, we'll start with, we'll end this with Kirsty Smith. Yes, young lads want the cars, the planes, the travel, and they think they will get the same. It's harmful to our lads. I like to say how young male crime may have risen in correlation with Tate's presence. Defo, absolutely. I've tried to find that actually, and there's no obviously no studies, no figures towards that, but there's more. The article I put up there about teachers in the I newspaper. Have a read about that, and it goes a bit more in depth about, like, I suppose anecdotal, what educators and teachers are saying, like, about how it is affecting things, because it is. And like, even before Tate, I could see it with the prevalence of like just easily accessible, like, pornography. And it wasn't just straight up meeting two veg porn. Like what we did as part of that session, I asked young people, obviously with their permission, to show, like, open up and show. It was just men in that session. It was 2 male workers and the rest of them were young men, and show the porn. And it was, as you would expect, fucking horrible. And by the end of it, they understood, because there was workers like us there getting in the way of all of this shit. But the problem is, there's no work now because it's all been defunded. And you would suggest it was probably something that was part of the culture war from early by the Tories, because why would you want people like me times thousands around the country intervening and telling young men what it is to be an actual man and challenging this misogynist bullshit? You wouldn't, would you? Because if you were the establishment, you'd want what divided. So this is why we're covering this today. Feel free to send this to young men. And I'm serious about this too. If there's a young man in your life whose head's fucked by this, get him on. Fuck a podcast. I'll talk to him one-to-one on this video. Like, I got ahead of this a while back, and I spoke to one of my nephews about this. He'd given us no indication that he was like, he'd already mentioned him, but I wanted to get ahead of it. Turns out he knew who he was, and we had a good chat about it. So men especially, definitely men, get on to the younger men in your life, or even just men who are parroting this nonsense like a top J. Just get on to them and talk to them. I'll talk to them if you want. Send them to me. I'm not bothered. Like, this is just crazy, man. Like, forget about anything other than this, right? Say, if a child was born now, 18 years' time, it's not just going to be this Andrew Tate. There's all these thousands of them, right? And unless we, this generation now, get ahead of this stuff now, it's going to be a nightmare then. Watch, because there's a lot of vested interest and money behind amplifying this fucking nonsense from the likes of Tate. And I mean, he was on Talk TV like the other week being interviewed by Piers Morgan, who knows exactly what he's got up to, Tate, in the past. The criminal stuff, never mind just all the shite he comes out with. So I would suggest that there's a hell of a problem that we're faced at the minute, and we're only going to combat it by actually challenging it and doing it forcefully. Forget all this like pointing at Greta Thunberg about small dick energy. Yous are fucking cringeworthy as well, to be honest with you. We've got like somebody here, Tate, who's like literally like saying it's like women's fault that they're being raped. And we're talking about what Greta Thunberg said, and just fucking get out of here, man. Anyway, this has went on a long time. Really nice to be back. Really nice to be like going back and forth with you all. And it's really nice to start this 2023 with everybody's support. It can be a big fucking year. And I swear to God, if we can pull off building this independent media thing together, then we're fucking dancing. So anyway, patreon.com/cowdaily, patreon.com/cowdaily. Links in the description for PayPal. Also, big up Raji City. Go and check them out. And I actually paid for this. They didn't send it for free. Tom cycle wear, really quality. And if you're into cycling, you know Rafa. right up there with Rafa, but not as expensive. Looks good as well. So check them out. They didn't ask us to promote it, but they did send us for free when I was too big to wear it. So back in the cycling game, having a rest day today though, just a little walk with the dog and that. Get a bit of work done this afternoon. Lush to see you, chaps. Back in the house tomorrow, I think. All the very best. Ta-ra now.
Okay.